70s. Little old man, he was washing his socks over in the aisle too. Then there was a real cool guy washing really nice clothes, had a lot of good times. What was he doing? Listen to Jive Talk, listen to Shane Diablo. Bad note. Listen to Jive Talkin with Shane Diablo, the really cool guy. He was just, and then comes a lady through the door. Really attractive lady, just about the same age as the cool guy washing the clothes. Listen to Shane Diablo Jive Talkin. And they fell in love to the Jive Talkin motherfucking podcast. Oh, God. If you're not familiar with something like that, it's called a storytelling type of song. King Diamond does it a lot. It's where you might like the rhythm, you might like the beat, you might like the groove, but it's telling a story. It's a storied song, and that was about a laundromat where people fall in love, but they also listen to Jive Talkin with Shane Diablo. Welcome back to another episode 126. We've done 126 of these, and I'm committed to 1,000, okay? That's as far as I'm going to go right now. That's all I'm prepared to do. But welcome one and all to another episode of Jive Talkin with Shane Diablo, your best friend in the world, just talking about heavy metal news of the week. Every single week, you just, it's right here for you. If you're ever feeling like, man, the world's just coming down on me. It's really pissing me off in ways. Maybe this will help you on your journey. I know I've had one hell of a week. I can tell you that. I've had one hell of a week, but we're not here for that. We're here for heavy metal news. Let's get into it and see what life has brought us this week. Do you see this man here? This guy has been trying for so many years to get Skid Row back together. That is the Baz man. Sabatino, we call him, but Sebastian Bach. And he's been saying, we got to do a reunion. Eric Gronwall. Now, Blabbermouth is wonderful because they're going to tell us exactly what's the ins and outs of the whole situation. But he's saying about a reunion. With him getting back with Skid Row, the only thing standing in our way, is the business side of this. So that makes me want to think that perhaps they're friendly. Now, one of those other guys are going to come out and set us straight, probably. But in a new interview with Emma J. of Screamer Magazine, ex-Skid Row singer Sebastian Bach once again said that he is hopeful about a reunion with his former bandmates. There's a whole narrative. Oh, Jesus. There's a whole narrative that we don't get along, or they don't want to get in the same room as me. There's stuff that I have found out recently on the business side that I can tell you the planet Earth, this has nothing to do with what happened in 96, or me being wild, or us not getting along. This right now is 100% business thing, and I found some shit out that's true. The only thing that's standing in our way is the business side of this. I can give you all the details, and Snake doesn't want you to be doing that. But it's not about us not getting along. It's about us figuring out how to make this work on the business side. And hopefully we can figure it out. I'm ready to figure it out. But the whole narrative, because Shane learned that word, narrative, isn't a storied song a narrative? Put that in the comments and tell me. Isn't a storied song a narrative? I could have said it was a narrative song that I performed for you. I'm ready to figure it out. But the whole narrative, they don't like him and he's too crazy. That's not even true. I almost went into my ace there. Bach also talked about the musical direction of his upcoming solo rocker album, Child Within the Man. He's got to have a tune. I'm a child within the man. If you don't have that song, then break the record and go back in and record it, because there needs to be a tune. which is due out on May 10th via Reigning Phoenix Music. He said, I don't want to make the exact same record over and over and over and over, but I guarantee you that if you like the first Skid Row album, remember that Skid Row album? And if you like Slave to the Grind, you will like Child Within a Man. It's a child within a man. It's almost like that. We are the, it's a child within a man. Is he trying to, he's basically saying, in that title there, he's just saying, look, I'm Sebastian Bach. Yes, I'm getting old. Yes, I'm older, but I'm still a child within. I have to be a man now. I get it. I understand that with all the problems and bullshit that has to go on. I understand that, but deep inside in my heart and my mind, I'm still a child within. That's what he's saying. It's impossible not to be because I have a different bass player and I have a different drummer, and no disrespect to anybody. But I do the same thing as a vocalist, so it's kind of like White Zombie and Rob Zombie. Is there really a big difference? I mean, he does have a point there, doesn't he? White Zombie and Rob Zombie is all just basically the same, isn't it? You know what Rob would say to that? Yeah. Yeah. Having said that, though, he continues, having said that, though, I would love one day to get back together with the old band and make new music. I am not cutting that off or putting that down in any way. I would love to do that someday. But this album is the next album in my catalog, which includes the albums I did with Skid Row, because I do the same thing, man. Last month, Skid Row's fourth frontman. Here we go. Fourth frontman since Bach departure, former Swedish Idol contestant Uns Erik Grönwall quit the band to focus on his health. Yes, and that is the most important thing. We're not going to go into the big term they're saying here about what he has. It says Grönwall, who was diagnosed, wanted to take a break. Bach previously spoke about the possibility of a Skid Row reunion during a March 3rd question and answer session with Downtown Julie Brown. Was she not hosting Club MTV? What was she doing? Downtown Julie Brown, she got to be hosting Club MTV. Was that the only show they ever gave her? I know there's some of you old folks in here. Tell me about that, because I remember, I think she hosted an episode of Headbangers Ball or something once. We're like, what the fuck is she doing on here? Downtown Julie Brown, and I watched Club MTV, so I'm like, Downtown Julie Brown does not belong on Headbangers Ball. I'll watch her in the afternoon. God, they had some good bands too back then on Club MTV. You know that. Man, we could really go for some. You're unbelievable. Oh, I always thought those kind of dance shows were cool. How you know you see all the crowd and shit dancing, and then all of a sudden it just kind of parts, and then the host is there going, "That was EMF. You're unbelievable." And now coming up, you know, and then they and then all the people come back together, swallowing the host again into the throes of the night. But I digress on that. I apologize. But we're all still alive, you know, back together again. We still got hair. I have no problems. I play with everyone except for them. That's really weird. He continued, addressing the audience directly. How many of you guys watch Metallica's Some Kind of Monster movie? I did. A couple times. It's a train wreck. And it's on Netflix if you haven't seen it. It never gets old, man. It's all about them having a therapist. And James Hetfield, frontman, can't rehearse past 4 p.m. And Lars Ulrich, Metallica drummer, is all mad, slamming the door. Yeah, and he eats a tuna fish sandwich on a leather couch, and then he wipes his goddamn fingers. He wipes his mouth, and then he rubs his fingers on that beautiful leather couch. But the whole movie is about Metallica working with a therapist, and nobody helps Skid Row or anything. It was like, you guys are on your own. Figure it out. And every book I read, Aerosmith, Motley Crue, everyone, is about having somebody helping them. So maybe there's some therapists that want to get paid some money and put the band back together. There's no reason that there's no reason that we're not together. There is, Sebastian, because you told us. It's a business thing. You said that. Let's get on to this. I wanted to learn a little bit about this. This is interesting to me. So you got Matt Caeron here, and he was the, go listen to those Soundgarden records. He is unbelievable on those, and now he is the drummer for Pearl Jam, I do believe. But, I mean, his drum work on those Soundgarden records, it's not just 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? Believe me when hear me now, believe me later. Pearl Jam's Matt Caeron recalls getting a cease-and-desist letter from Kiss as a teenager. And I did a quick short on this, but during an appearance on Sirius XM's The Howard Stern Show, Pearl Jam and Soundgarden drummer Matt Caeron recalls how he was threatened with legal action by legendary rockers Kiss nearly 50 years ago. He said, as transcribed by Blabbermouth, I was in a neighborhood Kiss cover band, and I was 13, 14 or something like that. We played our local high school keggers. Oh, what? You don't, 13, 14, no keggers, guys. Even if you're a Kiss cover band, okay? Local high school keggers, whatnot. My dad was friends with the head of the stage union in San Diego. So when Kiss was playing there, it was during the Alive tour, so that was 75. We got to go see Kiss do a sound check at the San Diego Sports Arena. So I brought the two guys that I was in the Kiss band with, Tim and Dave Mahoney. I used to call them the Baloney Mahonies. To the sound check. We brought our photo album from our stupid Kiss cover band. My mom made a costume. Tim's mom made a costume. We built the rickety ply platforms in Tim's garage. We made flash pots out of coffee cans and a light socket with a little flash powder inside of it. This is brilliant. This is 1975. Do you see what they're doing in 1975? That is getting creative. It was janky, low rent, horrible. I take back everything I just said then. So anyways, we took this photo album to meet Kiss frontman Mr. Paul the Paul Man Stanley, Paul Stanley Eason. We got a photo with him, and so we were sort of like, hey man, we're in a Kiss cover band. Here's our stupid little photo album. Cut to, 4 to 6 months later, we get a cease and desist letter from Kiss, then management company, Acoin Management. And we were big Kiss fans. So Kiss used to put the logo for Acoin Management on their albums. So we were all excited when we got the letter. Whoa, we're getting a letter from Acoin Management. We've made it. And it was a cease and desist letter from Kiss. Man, I would love to hear from people in Kiss cover bands that's ever happened to. Maybe he'll tell us here. As for what Kiss's management was objecting to, Caeron said, it was because I think we just called our Kiss cover band Kiss. Yeah, and I don't think, can you use the word Kiss in it? You know, you couldn't do Kiss and makeup, could you? Because they're all kind of like something else, right? Shock me, or I can't come up with any of the big Kiss cover bands right now, but it might have been because it was just called Kiss. We didn't really think ahead there. So after that, we had changed our name to Kiss, and in parentheses, the word imitation. Okay. Howard Stern host, which airs Sirius XM channel, Howard 100. It's broadcast live Monday through Wednesday, starting at 7 a.m. EDT. That's Eastern on demand time. The full show is also available on Sirius XM's app. Caeron and the rest of Pearl Jam were on the Howard Stern show to promote their 12th studio album, Dark Matter. I like that tune. You heard that song, Dark Matter? It's pretty good. Kind of takes me back to that first record. I like the first Pearl Jam record, 2 songs off the second one, and then I was out of there. It marked the first LP in over 4 years since Gigaton in 2020. They put that out there. Pearl Jam's Eddie Vedder had to say, okay, we're done with that shit. Vince Neil here, look at that. If he wasn't Vince Neil, he'd be a wrestler, wouldn't he? Like a Macho Man's kind of knockoff brother, or kind of, loose-witted brother. That was, if he didn't have Elizabeth with him, Elizabeth. She, where's my dumb brother? Here I am. Motley Crue, Vince Neil. I'm very proud of the boy for this. He's going to be serving as the Grand Marshal of this year's Franklin Rodeo Parade. And, I mean, you've been to the peaks of the mountaintops. He's been to the valleys and the oceans below. Down in that place, it's the deepest place in the world. That's, what's it called? The Molotov Hole? I can't remember, but he's been everywhere. He swam to the bottom of the deepest seas, and he's been to the mountain peaks with Motley Crue. And now he will be the Grand Marshal of the Franklin Rodeo. We got to learn about it. Motley Crue singer Vince Neil will be the Grand Marshal for the Franklin Rodeo Parade, set to take place Saturday, May 11th at 12 p.m. That's noon. Do not be tardy. In downtown Franklin, Tennessee. Founded in 1949, the Franklin Rodeo brings over 18,000 screaming fans year after year. It is one of the longest-running family events in Middle Tennessee, and one of the largest rodeos east of the Mississippi, not west of it, but east of the Mississippi. The Franklin Rodeo and the Franklin Rodeo Parade are presented by the Franklin Noon Rotary, and the Franklin Rodeo Parade takes place the weekend before the Franklin Rodeo, of course. You've got to clean things up before you bring the horses in, so it's the weekend before the Franklin Rodeo in historic downtown Franklin. The Franklin Rodeo organizers said, "Drum roll, please. We are thrilled to announce that the one and only Vince Neil, rock legend and frontman of Motley Crue, whom we did burn the records in the 80s. Well, we're not going to lie about that. We did have a burn the records party, and Motley Crue was there. That's besides the point. That's many years ago. Vince Neil will be our Grand Marshal for the Franklin Rodeo Parade. Get ready to rock out and roll down the streets with Vince Neil leading the way." It almost makes you want to get on a plane and head out to Franklin, Tennessee. They say, "What are you doing here? Why are you here?" "I'm here to see Vince Neil." I thought any damn fool would know that. Vince Neil. You don't want to see Vince Neil as the Grand Marshal of a parade? You got to be out of your mind. A Grand Marshal has a special connection to Franklin, Tennessee, just like his iconic song, Home Sweet Home. Mr. Vince Neil, he has made his home sweet home, Franklin, Tennessee. Vince Neil. A few years ago, Neil told Access TV Rock and Roll Road Trip about why he moved to Nashville from Las Vegas. "We still have our place in Las Vegas, so we're always going back and forth, but we moved here because we had horses in Vegas, and the horses, it's 120 fucking degrees out there, man, and the poor horses, they outside and stuff. And so I actually did a concert here in Nashville. And it was like LA in 1980s. Franklin is like Los Angeles in the 80s? Earlier last year, Motley Crue recorded 3 new songs with legendary producer Bob Rock, including Dogs of War, and a cover of Beastie Boys' "You Gotta Fight for Your Right to Party." Is it just weird for 67-year-old men to be going, you gotta fight for your right to party. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I'm asking the question. I'm not being rude. I'm just asking you, is it hip and cool for 60-somethings to go, you gotta fight, boom, boom, for you right. I mean, it's fun to do. I'll give you that. It's fun to do. It's just, I don't know. You see this little fella? Oh, hello, Shane. No, I'm not Voldemort. Why do you just, get over here, I will give you noogie. This is Wolf Hoffman of Accept. And he says, oh, there's this romantic idea that musicians have to stay together forever. Don't be ridiculous. In a new interview with Brazil's Heavy Metal Online Accept guitarist Wolf Hoffman spoke about the challenges of keeping a band lineup together. He said, as transcribed by blabbermouth.net, well, nobody is forced to be in Accept. Everybody's a volunteer in this. And sometimes it turns out that somebody decides, I want to go a different direction. And then, that's totally normal. It happens in every company. It happens in every sports team. It happens in every other aspect of life. But for some strange reason, there's this romantic idea that musicians have to stay together forever. And that's just not practical. I mean, he's right. He's 100% right. I think people just grow attached. You know, you just grow attached to seeing the characters, you know. I mean, especially if you're like a Gen X or your older generations. When you bought a record, you would sit down with it. You'd read every song. Who produced it? Where was it? You know, you're looking at the spine and everything else. And you know, it's like, that's why it's like Wasp. You go, oh yeah, baby. Tony Richardson, Randy Piper, Chris Holmes, Blackie Lawless, because you would look and read all that. So you get connected to those characters. Let's say like an Ace Frehley and a Peter Criss type of situation. So he's not wrong. And Phil Schaus is a third guitar player in Accept. He joined us in 2019, and last year, after the South American tour, he came to us and said, listen, guys, and I had food poisoning on this tour. I had to sit for hours and hours on these planes. I was in a hospital. This is just all too much for me. I'm sorry. It means very much to me. This is all too much for me. This is too rough. I have an offer from another band here in Nashville. Home of Vince Neil in Franklin Nashville, Tennessee. Oh, I want to join this other band. So please, I want to leave the band. But we said, man, Phil, you're great, amazing player. We don't want to let you go. We love you. We want to keep you and hold you tight. What can we do? Paul, what can we do? And he said, well, maybe I can be a permanent special guest in Accept and still be part of most shows, but I cannot be in every show. And that's a perfect example of what happens sometimes. We'd love to keep him, but he has other plans and his life changed slightly. And so now he's not going to be everywhere we play. And to complete that story, we're not bringing to South America Joel Hoekstra from Whitesnake with us on this tour. But that's just a perfect example. I just gave you the perfect example. If it was up to me, nobody would leave. What about Udo? Would he leave? Wolf? And we would just all be great friends and everybody would get along. But that's not how life is sometimes. So I see it as my role as the only surviving oldest member of the band to just keep the ship afloat. I want to keep going to my best of my abilities, and that's what I do.
It's mission in life to keep except going to the best of my abilities. And I think we have a fantastic camaraderie in the band right now. Weird German word to say camaraderie in German, und in German tongue. Camaraderie in the band right now. But, and I cannot guarantee, maybe someday, a few years down the road, somebody would change their mind and want to do something else, and that's okay.
A little bit more of this, maybe, yeah. We got, I want to, what's his name? Bass player for Metallica. I want to see him. We got him. He's talk about Cliff Burton and Jason Newsted. And then we're going to watch Gene Simmons and Tommy Thayer. I mean, fuck, wipe the makeup off, get right back together. Get over there. Let's get going. And then we got your comments, of course. So regarding what he and his bands do to create a peaceful atmosphere within, except, Wolf said,
and don't stress the little stuff. And one thing we found that really works for us, we try to have personal space. Give me my space. For instance, during the day, everybody goes to their room. Some guy is just watching TV, the other guy is walking the city, but we try not to always hang together. And then, like an hour before the show, it's fresh. We're happy to see each other. And we're glad to make metal together. But if you're hanging together too much, that's when the problems start. You can only take so much of each other because they're always trying at airports on flights. We share meals together. We're always traveling. What did I say? Try? I felt my accent slipping, so I was kind of goofing the words and goofing everything. I feel like for the German, if you keep the V in there, at the airports, flights, we share meals together, and after a while, you don't know what to say to each other because you've said it already. You just talk normal, just as you would do any other human. When you try to figure out what to say to people, that's when all your anxieties come. When you're trying to say, what do I say next? What do I start this conversation with, and what do I say? Let it be what it is. If it's quiet, it's quiet. If they say, "How you doing, Marty?" You say, "Well, hey, how you doing?" And you just let it kind of naturally flow. And there's not so much new stuff that you can talk about. So sometimes it's just nice to go into your room and call your wife.
And you got plenty of things to talk to her about, huh? How long you been married?
I call my wife or call the family, or it's just in a different zone, time zones. You know, if I'm back in my room after a rock concert and I'm trying to call my wife, and she's in a different time zone. But I get nervous, what's she doing? When she don't answer my phone calls. And that's healthy and that's good, and that's how we keep a healthy relationship in the band, because too much is too much.
Let's get into Robert Trujillo. Jesus. I wanted to just quickly hear about what he's talking about that breaks down the differences between Cliff Burton's playing and Jason Newsted's playing. Now, I'm going to tell you something that I was telling a friend. Or maybe I mentioned it to you guys. But I listened to both the old And Justice for All and the And Justice for Jason versions, and I like the one without Jason Newsted. And I had heard James Hetfield say that Cliff played all over the place and did whatever he wanted. He came up with his own stuff. But he said Jason Newsted's style was that he wanted to follow exactly along with the guitars. And that is, you want to be with the drums when you're playing that bass, but you also want to have them
connected. But Cliff Burton did his own thing. So let's see if that's the case here, because this is the perfect guy for the job, right? This guy could lay down, Robert Trujillo could lay down any bass lines he wanted to any of those Metallica songs, and you go, that's some funky shit. Metallica's Robert Trujillo breaks down the differences between Cliff Burton's and Jason Newsted's playing styles during an appearance on April 24th, Sirius XM's The Trunk Nation with Eddie Junk in the Trunk. Metallica bassist Robert Trujillo, we haven't seen from old Eddie in a while. It's good to see him back. Metallica bassist Robert Trujillo spoke about the two basses that preceded him in the band. Jason Newsted and the late, great Cliff Burton, whom, by the way, slapped my hand. Master of Puppets tour, Ozzy Osbourne. I'm right up front, right on his side. He's got a black tank top on, I think. He's got. I remember seeing that tattoo on his forearm because it looked like it was glowing in the dark under those lights. That Misfits Crimson Skull he's got right there. And I'm just a little teeny guy, and I have my little hand out over the railing. Because you got to think, this is Master of Puppets. Everyone's like, okay, whatever. They didn't really explode. So if you've ever been to old timey concerts when it was just free roaming on GA on the floor, that first band, you had no issue getting up to the front of the stage. It was going to be packed when Ozzy, because it was Ozzy Osbourne's Ultimate Sin tour, and people were going to be packed in there. Yeah, there was plenty of space. So little me, I'm just little boy. And I put my hand up there, I put it over the railing, and he was looking at me. Just kept looking down and playing it. And I want to say to myself that he was thinking, my God, there he is. That is a heavy metal son of a bitch right there. That kid is going to be a somebody someday. And then he leaned over and he smacked my hand so goddamn hard it hurt for a day. And his fingers just slapped right there. But you know what? The pain, I didn't care about the pain because it was like freaking Cliff Burton. That was the summer. That was the summer right there. He spoke about the you got it. So he said, in part, it's interesting because between Jason and Cliff, they're very different players, and I think that's great. I love the fact that we're all different. We all have our thing that we bring to the band. And obviously with Cliff, he was such an incredible musician. I mean, he was really a composer when it came to the instrument. In the same way that I watched a documentary on this guy. The same way that Jaco Pastorius, is it Jaco Pastorius? I watched a documentary. Or Stanley Clarke would have been a composer. They're thinking about the song, but they're also thinking about the voice of the instrument within the song and how to present it. And sometimes that's utilizing distortion or overdrive or the wah pedal and being melodic with it. And I love that. That's what I love about Cliff. And then you've got Jason, who was really keeping it and holding it down, keeping it solid, a lot more simple, but in a good way. You got to put that. You can't say a lot more simple and just move on. You got to put, but in a good way. Because Blabbermouth will get a beef going between, Jason will say, that son of a bitch. You ain't, let's face it, nobody's messing with that guy. Robert Trujillo, you ain't messing with. Jason Newsted's too nice for that, by the way. It's weird because sometimes I feel it's like I just had an image of Robert Trujillo and Jason Newsted fighting in the octagon. Let's see, about Cliff and Jason was really keeping it down, keep it solid. Yes, a lot more simple, but in a good way. Definitely not in a pedestrian way. I would never say that. Ever say that. I think it's just really solid. What I've learned Robert, what have you learned over the years that you've been working with Metallica? Are you asking? Yes, that's the question I'm asking.
What I've learned over the years from everyone that I've ever worked with, whether it's Metallica or playing in Ozzy Osbourne, yes, and they swapped there, didn't they? Jason Newsted and Ozzy Osbourne's band, and recording with Ozzy and working with Jerry Cantrell of Alice in Chains. Jerry, for instance, is an incredible bass player. He would never cop to it, but this guy, as a composer, I'm saying, where he positions the notes within a song and the dynamic sort of value of the note in the simplicity is incredible. If you listen to a song like Alice in Chains' Rooster, you can hear the bass that has a personality within the song. Yeah, I know, I can hear it right now. And it resonates, and it's got space. But he's really great at taking the bass and using it in a simple form, but also having its presence be known in a very dynamic way, which lends itself to the song. That's why you always hear bass in Alice songs or Jerry's songs, music. I recorded with Jerry recently, and it's just always a blessing and an incredible experience. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's special because he's such an amazing composer. And I just feel blessed deep down inside with any situation I've been able to record in and be part of. The songwriting is just always at the highest level, and working with Metallica bandmates Lars Ulrich, James Hetfield, and Kirk Hammett for 21 years, I can't believe it's been that long, has been an incredible experience because they're composers, okay? And that's special. When you can be in a band and work with people that love the art of songwriting. Trujillo was born October 23rd, 1964 in Santa Monica, California. Tasted success as the bassist in a funk pioneers, Suicidal Tendencies, or what were they called? Infectious Grooves, yeah? And Ozzy Osbourne's band, but in 2003, he successfully auditioned to replace Jason Newsted in Metallica. A process chronicled in the warts and all documentary, Some Kind of Monster. Let's watch just a little bit of Gene Simmons. He's going to blister us with some Ace of Spades. I don't think it's going to be all that hip and cool, but, you know, I was going to do, where's the one where they were almost kissing? Where's the one? Yeah, there they are. You want to do this one? Look, they're doing Lick It Up here, and Gene Simmons is not putting his lips on that microphone. He's trying to get a taste of Tommy Thayer's lips. And he's saying, I'm going to lick something up, buddy. Here we go. Who's singing it? Tommy Thayer, man. Tommy Thayer. Tommy Thayer. I picture this kind of moment in the distant future when Gene Simmons is getting on some kind of a train, and Tommy Thayer is left on the boarding pier dock, and just holding his hand out like, oh fuck, I'm gonna miss you forever. It has been an honor to serve you in every form and fashion that you have asked, Mr. Simmons. Thank you. Lick it up. Oh, yeah. Come on. Give us the come-ons, Gene. You don't do Lick It Up without come on, come on. It's just not right. They're doing some kind of tricky breakdown. Because this thing's like 7 minutes long. Oh, by the way, it's at Rock and Brews. That's owned by Kiss. Or Paul Stanley and Gene. Oh. Is this something they do at the end of the road concert or no? Shaky hands here with the camera is starting to make me nervous. I think we're moving on to your comments. So let's do that now because I thought that guy was he's having a spell. You know, if you can't hold the damn camera, I'm fine with the panning. That's fine. Pan here, pan there. But when you got the shaky jitters, it's like, go get tested. It is time for the most delightful portion of this podcast, and it's your comments. That's right. Every episode, if you've made it this far, we get into your comments. And this is highly enjoyable for me. So, without further ado, that's old Mike Buchanan there. He's got his stuff. So let's get into it. Wow. Have I got a whopper of movies that are bad, but we love them anyways. I was searching for a specific movie to watch and couldn't find it anywhere. Ended up on Tubi. I'm on there a lot. And the movie I was looking for wasn't there, but one of them in the corner of my eye, I spied Zombies. 2016. It's the Jurassic World of the dead, but a zoo. I watched this movie, and when the experience was over, I stood up and clapped. Really? I was alone at my house. Oh boy. This better not get kinky. The film has such realistic CGI that when I first saw the zombies, I hid under the chair until they were shot. And don't even get me started on the insane deaths that were so over-the-top gory, it was beautiful. The characters were so funny that I had to tape my mouth shut because of the neighbor's noise complaints. Jesus, he's S&M-B&D-ing himself over there. What did he say? He was naked, and he was standing up and clapping, and now he's got duct tape and shit. This is going to go south. Whenever Kifo, the gorilla, came back, I was ecstatic at first, but when he attacked the kid, I had a heart attack. If there was one word for this film, it would be glorious. Zombies, now I got to watch it. Zombies is now my newest guilty pleasure. Grab your favorite beverage, sit in your favorite chair, pop some popcorn, and press play. I'm always on Tubi. To be honest with you, I'm always on Tubi. Mike Buchanan says, the Def Leppard album you are thinking of is Hysteria. Yes. This will make more sense as to why I posted this first later. Mike Buchanan on James. What else are we going to see Lemmy's ashes in? What else are we going to see Lemmy's ashes in it? I myself have it in my will to be cremated and then to have my ashes placed into the ground and then have a tree planted that I will grow into the tree. Will ash grow into a tree? I don't know about that portion of it, but I always thought would be great is if you've got a family that are out for the money, spend every goddamn last dime on plastic surgery so you look fantastic when you're in your coffin. I always thought that'd be great. They go to see, oh, goddamn, Daddy's dead. Let's see. Now, where's the will? We got to get on that. They open it. There's no money. In fact, you owe because he went in for, a penis lengthening surgery and then he died. So you still owe for that too. They're like, there's not a penny for us. Mike Buchanan on Kiko. I think he should sell off of that stuff. And then get together with all of the members of Megadeth that have been fired and start a band called Mega Life. Or get the Kings of Thrash. Boy, Dave Mustaine thinks something was going on, right? If Kiko went over there and joined and all of them were on stage, it might be ridiculous. Mike Buchanan on Michael Anthony. Yeah, Dave's one cuckoo short of a cuckoo clock. So a Van Hagar reunion tour, I'd go see that. That's the only time I saw Van Halen. Or no, yes. I saw Van Hagar and I saw David Lee Roth on the Skyscraper tour. And I want to say Poison was on that tour. I'd go see that. But who would you... But who would you replace Eddie with? I think Nuno would be a great idea. I've seen both versions of Van Halen. I think I prefer the Sammy version live. Wow. That's pretty cool, though, that you've seen it. You've seen David Lee, with the band, with your own eyes. But I was a very young man, though. But I was a very young man when I saw Dave with Van Halen. And I've seen Sammy version like 4 times live. Wow. So now you got a biased opinion. You've seen Sammy Hagar, Van Hagar, 4 times. You got to give David Lee Van Halen 4 times to try. Mike Buchanan on Lita Ford. Must have been a slow news day to dig up a story from almost 50 years ago. But I will say she was nice to look at when I saw her live a few years ago. Still sounds great. Yeah, she's no one wants to hear the words, "You're holding up great." But she's still pretty attractive woman. Mike Buchanan on Brent. Woo! Country metal. While I don't know much about Jelly Roll, I do know that he's one heck of a voice. He's got one heck of a voice. Brent Sy is the one celebrity that my wife has a huge crush on. I've now seen Shinedown 5 times live, and we will be going until they no longer tour. Well, and if they get, you're going to see Jelly Roll. You'll be happy with that. Mike Buchanan on Slipknot. The billboard better have them corn harvesting. Yes, I am watching, or shall I say watched, Fallout, and it was fantastic. I can't wait for the next season. I finished it last night. I loved it. I've never played the game. I don't know anything about it, but I loved it. It was really goddamn good. Mike Buchanan says, sorry, acoustic Megadeth doesn't work. Okay, I will say this. I watched the opening song, and then I skipped ahead to the comments, and then I go back and I watch from the beginning again. Yes, the opening song too. Wow. Huh. Oh, and now it's time for the Jive Talkin jokes of the week, always provided by Mike Buchanan. I bought a dozen bees, but they gave me 13. I love a free bee. Did you hear about the woman named Deborah who married an Irishman with the last name O'Nair? Yup, she just became Debonair. My boss told me to have a good day, so I went home. Not to brag, but I have psychic powers. For example, right now you're thinking, it's psychic, you idiot. He is. He goddamn is a psychic, because that's exactly what I was thinking. I was going to say, you missed a P. Man, he's good. To all the people who, I wonder how many times did it take you, does it autocorrect? Maybe it doesn't. To all the people who always said I'd never amount to anything because of my procrastination, just you wait. My ex-girlfriend just told me she wants to get back together again. Man, I sure am lucky. I mean, first I win the lottery and now this? She says, oh, I was thinking about you, dear, and my heavens. It's just, oh yeah. I was going to tell you too, when I get on the bus every morning to head to work, I take my bike, I go down, I wait for the bus, I put the bike on the bus, blah. These two attractive twins started getting on the bus, creepily enough, right? But they got like the hard hats and all that. You're going, oh, they're cute. They're cute twins, these girls. Bizarrely, but they got the work boots on. They've got they got it all, right? They're in construction stuff, not lawn care, not nursing, but in construction stuff, right? So I'm watching them, and every day they get on, and they sit down, but they must have found love interests on the construction site, because there's been a gradual uptick in their clothing that they wear. Before it was just dirty pants, big boots, everything. They get them and sit down, and you'd still go, oh, they're those are some cute twins. They're not the Doublemint twins, but they're cute enough, right? But they've been exceedingly getting more attractive. And I'm like, these two gals have found love on the construction site. So this morning when I get on the bus, they are decked out to the nines. They're wearing white pants. They've still got the construction boots on, right? And the construction helmet. One of them has, I'm not kidding you, a sweater on that it's got a nice design of a couple of colors or whatever on it. And she's got pink bows. Her hair is up in pink bows. But she's got the construction helmet. I'm just like, they found love on the site. They say, I've got to look good. I'm going to be moving. Yes, I'm going to be moving cinder blocks all day, Cindy. I give you that. But Chad's going to be there. There's your heart, good friend. Oh, did I miss your... And finally, did you hear about the mute chicken? It didn't give a cluck. Sorry about the foul language. There you go. Good job. Miss Althea coming in. Yeah, it was just weird, man. I've just seen, I'm like, are they getting more dressed up? And then it was stamped today. When she came in and her hair was up with a pink, it was all up like that, with a little bit dangling down. And then she had pink bows in it. And I was like, oh yeah, she's got herself a man. Miss Althea coming in on she's talking James Hetfield here. Lemmy's ashes have filtered their way into a tat now. Okay, I don't want to think about all the paranormal implications involved. You got to get old Zach Bagans over there to sniff his fingers and see if he can, come up with something. And almost 50 years later, I guess this officially trumps Kiss mixing their blood into the ink of their first comic book. James still looks like a high school algebra teacher in that photo. Yes, he does. Just one who beats the crap out of the students for not understanding polynomial equations. Miss Althea on Kiko. Hey, you got to do what you got to do regardless of whether he is selling off stuff as a mental, spiritual cleansing from Megadeth or because he is behind on a couple of mortgage payments. Maybe he and Ace should get together for a yard sale. Oh! Miss Althea on Michael Anthony. Diamond Dave is one sandwich short of a picnic basket, and there wasn't enough time to talk about it. And there wasn't enough time to talk about it? Tell us something we don't know, darling. Miss Althea says, are you there, God? It's me, Lita. I remember that book. Slow news day if Blabbermouth or whoever has to craft multiple paragraphs about her faulty memory and a random offhanded conversation with the Lords of Led Zeppelin. And oh yes, Bobby Rock and his run with Vinnie Vincent Invasion. Ding, 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 ding. Met him a couple of times. That role that he does on Boys Are Gonna Rock. I was hooked. I said, Bobby Rock can fucking rock, baby. I was like, man, that dude slays. Met him a couple of times during that era, and he was very sweet. Miss Althea on Slipknot. Didn't really care about that story. However, I was waiting for Mike B to remind everyone how he broke the code in Iowa by not being a fan. You were riffing on Destiny's Child with Say My Name, Say My Name. Okay, Destiny's Child? Thought it was someone better than that. You know what I heard? I heard Waterfalls. Remember that song? Don't go chasing waterfalls. When you look to the rivers and the lake that you. Who's that? T-Boz, Chili, and Left Eye. Rest in peace to Left Eye. I can hear this dude dude. Fucking unmetal as fuck, dude. They're out there. Believe it or not, they are out there. Fucking, he ain't metal, dude. Miss Althea, I am so sorry for that. What the hell's happening to me? Christy McNichol, yes, was on Family. Not 8 is enough. I vaguely, now that I think of that Family, I can't remember anything about it. But I know I had to have watched it. Miss Althea on Hysteria is the Def Lep album that was escaping you. Adrenalized was the album that followed it. The album that came after that one, 1996 Slang, was unfortunately overlooked and is very underrated. Maybe we got to do some first listens to some of the Slang songs. It remains one of my all-time faves by them. Miss Althea says, unless something else is said elsewhere on your channel or even in this week's episode before this comment is read, I would be extremely remiss if I did not mention how saddened and utterly shell-shocked I was at the news of the sudden and unexpected passing of the Gazette's bass player. What? Rita? Oh, man, on April 15th, 2024. The announcement was released just hours after you posted Filth and the Beauty. And the news was just as jarring to a new fan like me as it was to their vast legion of years-on fans. I am so thankful to have discovered the Gazette's music and Rita's contribution to it. There is a reverence for Japanese music, isn't there? There's a very, I mean, people, when they like it, they like it. I guess there's bands out there like that, but it just seems like it's very inclusive. It seems like Japanese metal bands and stuff, it's very, all of them. Baby Metal, Band-Aid, X-Japan, all of them, it's a following. These guys are getting it too. I am so thankful to have discovered the Gazette, Rita's contribution to it. He was a monster bass player. He was always he was also a beautiful pianist. Rest in peace, dear Rita-san. And please do not be afraid or hesitate to explore the Gazette's music on your own. You can honor Rita by doing so. You seriously cannot go wrong for me. There is not one single song from one single EP or album that I dismiss. Really? And that is rare. There are plenty of official music videos and live clips. Well, we'll do them all out there to bring to the channel independent of first listen. So I say take the plunge. All right. Fantastic. That was almost like a beautiful speech. I was going to say eulogy, but I can't say that. Vinicius, Shane. Oh, there he is. Vinicius Moraes. Shane, talking about funny things, you got to check out the song Vodka from oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Vinicius. This is not the place. Please put that request again. Jive Talkings are only for fun. Only for fun. Shane, talking about funny things, Vodka from a Finnish band called Korpilani. I've heard some of that stuff. They're pretty twisted, aren't they? If you listen to the song, when you are feeling blue, you're going to feel better at the end. Like I said, go listen to Gutalax, Gutalax, something like that. And it's the happiest extreme metal music that you'll ever hear. It really gets you in a good mood. You don't even have to be, you're like, extreme metal, Shane, Jesus. But it's like grindcore. But the way they do it, it's almost kind of Barney core. If that's a thing. There's your heart, my friend. I'm gonna have to leave you barren. But good news is you're right down here again. I'm gonna have to leave that one barren. If I give you the heart, you'll think that I'm doing the request. So I'm gonna have to leave that heart barren. It's gonna have to die on the vine. But here we go. Vinicius coming in. He says, ha 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 ha. What was that? And he's got a little emoticon of crying eyes. Well, that'll get you a heart. And then Chad's older brother, Brad. I hate James. James who? James Lomenzo? James Hetfield? James Kotick? James Bartles and James? There's your heart there. Wow. Hate is a strong word. I'm going to give you, but love conquers all, doesn't it? I'm not a fan of hate, but love conquers all. Guess what? A heart eliminates hate. Bang. Okay, you guys, get out there, seize the day, do the thing, breathe deep, relax, take a minute to yourself, say to yourself, I'm good. I'm perfect. If you got things to work on, you say, I'll jot that down, I'll work on that. But you know what? I'm pretty happy with myself. You got to be really happy with yourself and be okay with yourself before you can do anything else or be anything else, right? We've talked about that before. We're going to just go out with a quick tune here. But I thought that was already done. I mean, come on, baby. We're going to get a tune, and we're going to freestyle. Here you go. Nope. Jive Talkin with your friend Shane, it always goes the right way. Jive Talkin with Shane D, get your motherfucking heavy metal news for free, you know you do. Having fun, talking about heavy metal news, it's so cool, isn't it cool? Cool stories about Vince Neil and Sebastian Bach, and they wanna rock and everything going good night, baby. Come and get it, get all your Jive Talkin anytime you like, anytime you want. Just hit it on the thing, turn it on, and then you'll scream. Jive Talkin with the Shane. Yeah, man. Missed one.